Alrighty, now that I've finished my gym session on this beautiful Saturday morning, I am going to take this aluminium over to the workshop and I am going to cut it up and then start marking it out and then drill holes. As soon as I find all my marking out tools, which are scattered throughout the house, the workshop, and places that I have no idea. So we'll see how this goes. This is not what I was expecting to see on the workbench. Obviously, this is not just my workbench. In fact, technically, it's not even my workbench. It's a shared workbench. Let's put it that way. Yeah. There's some carbies. That is some road bike. My brother's working on those. And then there's this shit. Like, God. I suppose I'm not working on the other workbench either, because this is for metal and aluminium gets scratched to the shit house when you put it on top of the shit. I have to clean it up first. Anyway, well, it's clear. That wasn't even that hard. I don't know why I was complaining. And that's all the space I need for this. So, time to get to it and bring all the rest of the stuff over. I'm just about ready to get started. All I need to do is find a scribe and a square so I can mark this out properly, but everything is here and ready to go. So, the cells will be arranged. Look at this one. And a second. Here we go. 1, 2. Yeah. So it'll be 7 in parallel, positive, 7 in parallel, negative, chopped about there, and then there'll be another one as it top, bottom as it connects all of them together. So, yeah, alright, let's get to it. That is not going to flip over. Don't want that to happen. Alloy doesn't land very well on concrete. First thing I do got to do to clamp it down a little bit better, but anyway. Job done! This thing is just, I don't know what the deal is with this. This thing is not square. It's all over the place. But look, it cuts. I'd be able to tell if it cut square if I knew where my square was, but that disappeared at work a long time ago. So I think I'll have to go to a hardware store today and buy another square. Sweet, it's cut. That's the first piece. I'm going to make one up, test fit it, and if that's all good, I have a template, because I've still got to figure out the exact cell locations and how the holes are going to go, and so, because I've stuffed up a couple of times with doing this with alloy, but I've learned from my mistakes, so I think I'll get this right the first time on all 7 of them. Yeah, there's 7 of them. Because I don't want to do it twice, because this is not super cheap material. So, yeah. Found myself something that will substitute for an engineer's square, or just any precision measurement square. This is not a precision measurement instrument. It is not. Not at all. But it should do the job. If it doesn't, I'm going down to a hardware store to get one. It's just it's raining and stuff, and like I'm really excited. I want to get this done. I've been looking forward to doing this for ages. Now, I went to go drill my first hole, as I'm doing this process slow and steady, and I noticed a slight issue. That's not going to work. Better fix that. That is actually... Wow. I just belted it with the rubber mallet, belted it up a couple of times, one smack down, and it might be dead on perfect. No way. Ooh, no, it's not. I didn't think it was. Just a little bit more of a... Wrong way, Dopey. Do this up. No. Anyway, I'll finish this off. Yeah, that'll do it. Beautiful. Just lock her up and send it. I've wound this thing out, and now I can just shit. unfortunately, in this fine selection of old, oily, I was going to say rusty, it's just oily, and decrepit equipment, there is not a vise that is wide enough to fit the aluminium bar, which was here, but is no longer. But regardless, they're not wide enough. So, yes, I'm going to go venture into the depths of whatever's past that obstacle and see if I can find one. If not, I will be doing it freehand with a drill in a vise, which I would rather not do. I really don't want to do that. I've got lots of holes to drill. Lots! Let's see how this goes. That's one of many holes drilled. Unfortunately, I was forced for the time being to freehand drill it, and as expected, it wandered, which is why there's a nice big gap there. And of course the drills weren't that sharp. I'm going to go buy myself a new 12mm drill bit, and I'm going to have to get a vise large enough for that drill, I think, which should be super easy to do, I'm sure. That'll only cost me $150, which is more money than I planned on spending this weekend. But I am not doing these freehand because it will end up like absolute shit, and I'm going to need the vise anyway to do mine in future. So that's how it is. I've been to a trip down to the local tool shop. I went and got myself 600mm ruler, a good one, expensive one. I had one of these, I do have one of these. The cheaper one just wasn't going to cut it, and I will be using it a bit. And hey, if I find the other one, I'll have two, which is just fine. It was an engineer's square, not quite the one I wanted. I wanted one that had measurements on it, but it is long enough for the width of the material, and it's a good square. Drill press, nice clamp, 150mm, which is more than enough opening. There was a better one that I wanted, but it wasn't square. What else there? 12mm drill bit, a good one, I hope. This was not cheap either, but this will be the finishing drill bit for the holes, and it's alloy, so I need something nice and sharp and spanky. Some brake clean, of course. Yeah, I'll need that for cleaning stuff up. And, you know, always need brake cleaner. Whenever you go to the hardware store, you always need brake cleaner. And this stuff, which I use at work, I'm going to invest because I am cutting 12mm holes in 12mm thick alloy. It creates a lot of heat, and I don't want this finish to look like shit and it to flare out at the ends, and then I've got to hit it with it makes it look horrible. So I will be using this stuff. I could just use WD-40, but it's messy, and this stuff's pretty good. It's nice and sticky and thick, and it's thick, not necessarily sticky, but yeah. I've used it at work, and it seems to work quite well. And it's one of those things of investing for the future. So, all right, time to go home and continue. More like get started. Actually, I've only drilled one hole today, and it is. That's not the time. It's like 1 o'clock or something. But anyway, time to go. Back. That is actually the time. Oh, I'm not getting this all done this weekend. But anyway, I will endeavour to try. Well, with the new measuring equipment that I've now restocked myself with, it is a much easier process and a much more accurate process. I'm not particularly experienced with this. I mean, I've done a few distro blocks and stuff like that before, and obviously, done a bit of stuff here and there, doing other things, but I don't do it particularly often. So, and I haven't really been taught much as far as this. I've just sort of learnt it. But yeah, it's coming along quite well. I'm quite happy with the process, and I've now basically gotten to the point where I have all the measurements mocked up. I can just go, right, well, there you go. That's the spacing. With the new implements of precision measuring and marking out, things are progressing along very smoothly. I now have all the measurements. I just put the ruler down and I go boom, 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 mark the lines, get that, mark those lines, then 11mm down, get the big ruler, mark that line, then 11mm down, mark that line, then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 along the bottom, crosses and I just get my pin punch, put on top of that very carefully, give it a nice little gentle tap, and then have a look at it, probably give it another slightly firmer tap to make sure it doesn't wander. I want it to go into the material and go off at angles, very easy to do. And then voila, I'll have all 14 holes marked out and ready to pilot hole drill. That is the bit where the drill will wander and where the greatest amount of error will come in. There is a bit of error obviously in measurement, but that's not too bad. But when you're dealing with drills this size, a lot more error is definitely introduced. But I'm going to try my best with my new bench vise, no, drill press vise, that's the one, to try and get it as accurate as possible. And I think it should be good. With me landing on this bit of weight, it won't move around much. I'll take it easy. I've got good lubricant. I've got this nice shiny new drill. In fact, I'm going to use nothing but new drills for this because I'm not. They need to be really sharp, really perfect, so that the holes don't wander at all, and it's all good. Nice finish to it. It doesn't grab at the aluminium, and then that will be less problems and a much better result, which I will be much happier with than a poor result. Alright, back to it. I'm going to mark these out and start drilling. Well, it's all marked out and ready to drill. Beautiful. Come up pretty good. The only thing letting me down is my eyesight. I mean, my eyesight's not bad. I think one of my eyes has a slight curvature in it. Like, I've never needed glasses. But trying to get the pin punch right on that freaking thing. I mean, the lighting's not bad. Yeah, the camera can't focus that. Like, it's not easy. I had to really look. Unfortunately, I can't just close one eye and use the other eye because it's better than the other one. They both just suck when I close one at a time. So, but I've got it pretty. It's good. It's still quite precise. A couple of them are like, 0.0, 5 off or something, like not half a mil, like a tenth of them. You know what I mean? But they're pretty close. So, yeah, I'm going to go drill them. Alrighty, I have finished marking out the holes in this plate. A little bit difficult trying to get this pin punch precisely on there. It is quite difficult for my eyes to focus at such a short distance, trying to really squint and just get exactly on there. But I've done definitely a pretty good job of it. Was patient, took a bit of time, and so now I'm going to go pilot drill all of these holes. As you can see, I am going to great lengths to make sure that these holes are very square, but let's just settle for very square because this fine piece of ancient equipment, very square just isn't part of the equation without a lot of work. But very square is plenty good enough. There's plenty of tolerance there, so I'll be happy with that. Oh, that just wasn't quite good enough. I removed some crappy old mat from underneath this thing, and now that is what we currently have. So, of course, if it is not level, then this cannot be level either. So now they are basically the same, which will mean that this drill is not level the same way that this is not level. Of course, this will be like that, but this vise also is a little bit out of level. So by doing this, the vise, aluminium, whatever, that will be level of the machine. The drill, friggin' hope it is. Yeah, it will be. It will be. I'll find out. I'll measure after I've drilled a hole somehow. Yeah, and the alloy is level with that, so therefore it will just work. That's simple. So in theory, it will work. In theory, it should work. It will work. Yeah. So let's see how this goes. But I'm very happy I've done this. Haven't used this drill press in a while. It's a piece of shit. Looking forward to getting my own brand new shiny drill press and leveling it on a nice flat piece of concrete. Really starting to feel like a real fitter now, real fitter and turner, which would probably be because I am a qualified fitter and turner, I suppose, but still, there's always a starting point. Progress has been made. 14 holes have been drilled. And let me tell you, it was difficult. Those are not the words I was going to use. Since this is going online, I'm not going to use those words, but yeah. I think I'm going to need to go pilot hole drill, then step up a few millimeters, probably step up 3 millimeters, then step up 3 millimeters, then the 12 mil. Yeah, pilot hole, first drill, second drill, 12 mil. Might even have to go pilot hole, first drill, second drill, third drill, 12 mil, just to make sure that it stays centered. I could bolt the vise down, but then I'd have to unbolt it and rebolt it every time I wanted to do every one of these 14 holes, which isn't really going to work. It's not practical time-wise. Really starting to think that sending this off to get CNC machined was a good idea. But you know what? Just going to struggle through it because there's only 7 more of these to go and then another 6. So really there's 13 more to go. Easy!